In the peaceful, glowing gardens of Brahmaloka, the creator Brahma was spending time with something very special. A bow made of sugarcane. The string of this bow was formed by humming honeybees, and the arrows were decorated with 4 beautiful flowers: lotus, ashoka, mango, and malika. As he touched each flower, it seemed to shine brighter. Standing near him was Kamadeva, the youthful god of love, glowing like the early spring breeze. Brahma looked at Kamadeva with affection. He reminded the young god that he was born from his heart, made from the very energy that creates love in the universe. And now, Brahma needed that love again for the sake of the world. He told Kamadeva about the mighty demon, Taraka, whose boon made him unstoppable. Only the future son of Shiva could destroy him. But Shiva had closed his heart after the death of Sati. He was lost in deep sadness, sitting in endless meditation, refusing to return to the world. To save creation, someone had to awaken him, and that someone was Kamadeva. Far below, in the Himalayan kingdom, a young princess named Parvati had already begun her journey. Her parents, Himavanta and Maina, were still grieving their 2 older daughters, both cursed for their faults. But Parvati was different. She carried the soul of Adi Shakti, born again to reunite with Shiva. When it was time for her to leave home, her mother wept. But Parvati reminded her of the prophecy. She had been born for Shiva. Since childhood, she had dreamed of Kailash, of standing beside the great Mahadeva. With her parents' blessings, she climbed the icy mountains and began her long, difficult penance. Day after day, through freezing winds and burning sunlight, she sat in meditation, calling his name, waiting for him. On another mountain peak, Shiva sat like a motionless statue. His body was strong, but his heart was heavy, silent, wounded, still mourning Sati. He did not hear the world. He did not see what happened around him. He sat in deep meditation, far away from everything, wrapped in the sorrow of the past. This was the Shiva that Parvati worshipped. This was the heart Kamadeva had been asked to touch. Kamadeva arrived on the mountain with trembling hands. He looked at Shiva, still as a stone, lost in endless silence. He looked at Parvati, thin, determined, glowing with devotion. He knew the risk, but the universe needed him. He lifted his sugarcane bow. The honeybees buzzed softly. The mountain air began to change. A warm breeze swept across the cold cliffs. Birds began to sing. Flowers bloomed where there was only frost. Kamadeva had brought spring to the land of snow. He released the arrow. It carried the fragrance of the 4 flowers. It slipped into the air around Shiva and gently touched his senses. For the first time in ages, Shiva's eyes opened, and then his 3rd eye opened as well. A burst of fire shot out. The warm spring vanished. The flowers turned to ash. The mountain shook. In a single instant, Kamadeva was reduced to dust. The gods gathered, shocked and grieving. Rati, the wife of Kamadeva, fell to the ground, holding his ashes in her hands. Her tears soaked the earth. Brahma reminded Shiva of Taraka's threat. This was not the time to retreat into sorrow. Without Shiva's son, the world could fall into chaos. Shiva said nothing, but he placed a gentle hand on Rati's head and told her that Kamadeva would be born again in the distant Dwapar Yuga and that she would meet him once more. Yet Shiva himself was not ready for desire. His heart was still afraid of its own pain. Shiva began to watch Parvati from afar. He saw her sit through the cold nights, turning stiff like ice. He saw her thaw each morning with the first light. He saw her ignore hunger and thirst, living on a single leaf every day, and then giving up even that leaf, living only on his name. Her devotion never broke. Her body grew weak, but her spirit grew brighter than fire. Slowly, something began to soften inside Shiva, something no arrow could ever reach. One quiet morning, the mountains were silent. Snowflakes drifted gently around Parvati as she sat deep in meditation. A soft voice broke the silence. Aparna. Parvati opened her eyes. Shiva stood before her, calm and peaceful, no longer distant. He had rejected the force of Kamadeva's arrow, but he could not reject her devotion. Her love had reached him in a way desire never could. She looked at him with wonder as he spoke again, gently. You are Aparna, the one who lives without even a leaf. She smiled faintly and said, But my parents named me Parvati, my lord. Shiva stepped closer, his voice soft and full of acceptance. Parvati, Sati, Aparna, Uma, you are all of them, and they are all mine. And Shiva embraced Parvati. In that moment, the long journey of lifetimes came to rest. The love that was broken once rose again, stronger, purer, eternal. Shiva and Parvati reunited, and the balance of the universe was restored.